Welcome to this live video. I'm Eva and I'm super excited to be hosting this live video today. I'm gonna talk with Julia about super interesting topics. So first of all, we're gonna talk about relationships and raw food. Hey! About relationships and raw food because it's just a topic that we both have experience in, and I think that in the Rawing community not so many people talk about it. So I think it is super important to talk about it. And why do we talk today? I'm just gonna invite her. Does it work? It should work. Yeah, now. Hello. How are you doing?
Eva.
So it's really funny because we're both Germans, but they're rubbing in buttons in English. We talk in English. But I'm really excited for this live video.
Yeah, I've got some notes prepared also for this topic.
Nice. And hey Matt, so nice that you're here as well. And yeah. And first, before we start, I just want to very quickly say we have the Barbie and bundle going on. If not already, I think tomorrow is the last day that you can get it. So definitely check it out. It's so worth it. The price is super cheap for the value that you get. It's so many e-courses, e-books. So definitely check it out. Either in Julia's bio or in my bio, check it out. And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean now we can start if it's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So basically, I think the structure that I have in mind for this interview or live would be that first we share kind of our experience, how it is to be in a relationship with someone who's maybe not fully raw vegan or raw vegan, and then also give some advice and maybe how to set boundaries or what is important for you, etc. And yeah, but I'm really excited to talk.
Yeah, me too.
So, do you want to start, or should I start with the experience?
Yeah, I can start. Yeah, so for a long time when I started the vegan lifestyle and everything, I was very minded and I was like, okay, I do not want to be with someone in a relationship who's not vegan.
Yeah.
However, along the line, I realized that mindset is not serving me in a positive way. So I met someone last year and we got along really well and we had so many similarities. However, I would not want to be in a relationship with him or kiss him or anything because I'm not vegan and we have a different perspective on health. So to me, that was out of the question. However, the more time we started spending with each other, I realized, wow, we enjoy doing the same things. We both have read the same books. And we like watching anime, we like running together, we like doing yoga. So we had so many things we could do together. And I realized, well, we only eat 1 or 2 hours every day together. So like all the other hours of the day we can spend doing whatever we want to, which does not revolve around food. So I kind of shifted my perspective, and then I also had another experience with someone who actually is fruit-based vegan, same as I am, and we were also not in a very serious relationship, but kind of. And with him, it was funny because we didn't really have that much similarities. It was definitely amazing to go fruit shopping together and to eat fruit together and to hang out and stuff. But when we would hang out, we wouldn't really have that much we could do together. So because of those two experiences that I've now had, I've realized that my, priorities have kind of shifted, and what's way more important to me is that we obviously have a lot of similarities, and all the rest is just gonna unfold with time. So yeah. What is your experience?
That's so interesting. I think I had a similar experience. So because I went vegan quite early, like when I was 15, and from that moment I was already, okay, I need to get a boyfriend who's also vegan, and I was really focused on that. And then I didn't get a boyfriend until I tried one guy that didn't work. So I think my ex-boyfriend I met when I was 19, 20, something like that. And he was also not vegan and he was not even vegetarian. So for me, it was the same. Just, no, we will not work anyway, like we will not work out anyways. And yeah, he was from the Canary Islands. So I was like, no, no way. But we just kept meeting and we had so much in common. And for me, actually, the thing was that because I went vegetarian even earlier and then vegan, but I'm from a very small conservative village. So me going vegan, vegetarian, and then raw vegan, it was always like this issue. And people, when I was a child, people were making fun of me. So I was really, really, really conscious about it. And in my mind, even though I knew, hey, something cool, in my mind, I was still just very conscious about it. And also, some people said to me, yeah, like you will not find someone who will accept you if you continue to eat the way that you do or if you're vegan. So I had so many, I was just so insecure about that. And it was just really an area where I was super, super insecure. And funnily enough, my ex-boyfriend, even though he was not vegan, not vegetarian, he was just super curious about it. And he was so supportive also of me trying to create my own business. And yeah, so it was really strange. And I think that I'm so grateful that I didn't say, okay, you're not vegan, so you're completely out of my, like, I will not see you again. And I'm just so grateful that I was a little bit flexible and I was just open to it and try it. And in the end, I mean, he's my ex-boyfriend, so we didn't work. But funnily enough, we didn't work, in my opinion, not because we had different, like, because I was eating different. I think that was not the main reason. It was more like because we, as people, we were really in the end different, and that's how it did, why it didn't work. But I think just the vegan part was not the main part, and I think that's why also my mindset shifted so much away from, okay, veganism or how someone eats is the main, like, is the most important thing. And now for me, what is most important is how do I feel when I'm with someone? How do I feel? Like, how do we interact? Do we have the same kind of interests, and what is the character like? Do we have the same? In our case, it was always, I liked a lot of closeness. He liked a lot of independence, and it was just too much of a difference. So I think now for me, that's what is more important. How do you interact just as people, as like how do you interact in that way? And all of the rest, like hobbies or what is the profession, and all of those comes second. But first is just how do you feel when you're with someone, and how do you interact together. So that was, yeah, really, really interesting also that my mind just shifted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely, so cool. And I love what you say that he encouraged you and that he supported you in your lifestyle and eating so much
Yeah.
food. Like, I think that's so important. And if that is there, like, if someone is really like supportive of what you're doing and understands you why you're doing it, then why not date him? Like, I don't see that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that.
Yeah. And it was because also before I got into a relationship, I was so like freaking out. How do we do it? I eat so different. But in the end, it just became normal because he was having a super fast metabolism, so he was eating so much food. So naturally, we were just eating like completely different portions. But it was normal in the end. It was just I was preparing my food and he was preparing his food, and then I was sharing a little bit of mine. But it was not the big deal that I made up in my mind to be. So yeah, it was, yeah. It worked out. Now I'm really, but I think it's so funny how life goes, right? That I thought, okay, I need someone, a boyfriend who's vegan, and then I was together with someone who's not vegan, but he encouraged me to actually be vegan
Yeah.
and follow my dreams, and it's so weird.
Yeah,
So
it's so funny, right? I also always thought if I would have a boyfriend who's not vegan, then I would have a much harder time being vegan, right? But actually,
yeah,
quite the opposite was the case because he encouraged and supported me so much. I actually never had a time since, that time where I have been eating cleaner because I had someone in my life who really understands me and supports me. And yeah, that's so important. And I think it's also great what you mentioned about that you both, for example, had a fast metabolism to really focus on like the similarities, like what do you have in common. For example, he has also some fast metabolism, he also eats maybe more often or bigger portions, or that he actually, is interested in having you share some of your stuff with him. That's a similarity that he really enjoys, doing that. So to really focus on that.
I agree so much. I think also the key component is if your partner is supportive. I think that's the key ingredient because, for example, like he was supportive, and it's different because I've been doing it for so long. I have come across people who are not supportive or who are making fun of you for being different, for trying out different things, and I think that's something I could not like. I could be with someone who like I could be in a relationship with someone who's not vegan, but I could not be in a relationship with someone who's not supportive. And I think that's really a key factor. Yeah.
Yeah. I personally would also stay away from people who like are in resistance towards what you're doing, towards your lifestyle, towards your dreams, towards whatever, and also who try to convince you that you should do it the way they are doing, that you should eat the way they are doing. Even if they are vegan, whatever diet they have, if someone tries to control you or, convince you that you have to do everything exactly the way they are, then I would stay away from that. And I personally also would never do that towards someone else. Like if I was in a relationship with someone, I wouldn't want to force my beliefs and my opinions on that person because it just doesn't feel nice to be around that. So yeah, I think that's really important.
I think it's such an important factor. It's like my English, but it's so important that you, as you said, that you don't force your beliefs on another person. And I think that's also something that I learned is that you should never control anyone. You should just, like I came on this planet alone, and even if I have a partner, I still live this life for myself in a way. So if I want to eat healthy, I'm gonna eat healthy, no matter if I'm single or if I have a partner or if the partner is vegan or not vegan. And there's I don't know if you know Tani Ra.
No.
No, she's a really cool person. She's also raw vegan, but for many years, and she is like for 15 years or something like that. But she also has a partner who's not raw vegan, and she made a really great video about it where she talked about like it's no matter like it's going vegan and being raw vegan, it's her thing. Like it's something that she does for herself because she feels good, and obviously for her it's the right thing to do. But she still, even though she's in a relationship, it's still she takes care of her own body. And I think that's so important because I think that some people when they want to go raw vegan or vegan, they say, yeah, I would want to do it, but my partner is not vegan, so I cannot do it. And I think that's just a maybe a limiting belief that some people have that everyone needs to be the same as you for you to try out something new. And I think that you can just try out something new, even though, for example, family is not vegan or partner is not vegan, because in the end, it's really your life is still about you in a way. I don't know if I explained it.
Yeah, you explained it so nicely, and that's such a great point because I think also often we are maybe afraid that we want the other person to feel good. Like that's the thought I often had with my ex-partner, that I wanted him to also experience all the benefits that I have. But the main reason why I'm doing it is for myself, and all the rest will just unfold, and you can just trust life that if the other person is ready for it, will take the next steps towards it. So yeah, I think that's a really great point, that to just first of all focus on yourself and why you are doing it and that you want to do it, and then not be so much in the outside and at the other person. And yeah, I think that's a really good point.
I think it's really important. Like it's super important to live, to be the example, and then when other people are ready, as you said, and because I think everyone has a different journey, and I think for me it was such a long journey. I went vegetarian over a decade ago, so it's a long journey, and I think that you cannot expect from someone who has never even heard about veganism to go vegan the next day. So yeah, I think that people just have their own journey as well. But what I think is so important is still to have boundaries and to know what is important for you. So, for example, for me, a boundary is that if I have children, I think I want my children to be vegan. So I think that would be a boundary, and I think I would not want, for example, if my partner eats meat, I would not want my partner to eat meat in a house, for example, because then the children eat meat. I think for me that would be a boundary, and I think that it's important to say and to be honest with yourself what are boundaries for you and what are, for example, for some people it's important, for some people it's not important. So I think one advice or tip that I would have is to write down maybe what is important for you. For me, it's important if I have children, I don't want them to eat meat. So yeah, maybe that's yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's such a cool thing with the boundaries. Yeah.
yeah. Do you have also maybe advice that you have learned over the years or in your past relationships that you can share with people?
Yeah,
Maybe.
definitely. I think the most important thing is to just focus on the similarities, what I've already said before,
Yeah.
and to really see like what do we have in common. Maybe we both are interested in health. Maybe we don't share the exact same perspective, but that's okay. But we're both interested in, or maybe we both like salads, or we both like smoothies, and then focus on that. Or maybe we both have already made the connection that what we put in our body affects how we feel. So to really focus on all these similarities and not so much on, you know, the outer form, but more on the like inner state that is maybe similar in those things.
Yeah.
And then also to just really be open and trust the process, because there is a very big chance that, you know, when you are vegan and you're shining your light and you feel amazing, you feel great, especially if you're in it for the health, but of course also for the ethical part, that the other one will see it and will notice it. And I've definitely like seen a big shift in how my ex-partner was looking at, you know, this whole topic of, you know, nutrition, diet, and, you know, also the ethical part of the animal industry and how he was eating. I could see a difference. It wasn't fully vegan, which is okay. You know, I haven't been attached to that particular outcome, and I think that's very important. But I've seen a difference, and yeah, to just be open and trust the process, that things will unfold and everything, will just work out perfectly. Yeah.
Well, I love it so much. I think this is super great advice, especially to not be attached to the outcome. I think what I've learned is if I go in a relationship with someone who's maybe not vegan, I have to be okay that, I mean, you should not go in a relationship with someone and then want them to change. You should kind of already accept it. I think that's super important. I think also what you said with the like to focus more on the similarities and not so much about what separates you. I think this is so important, and I think that one lesson that I've learned is also that one partner cannot give you everything. So you still have to have, for example, like obviously friends and maybe family with whom you can have fun, because one person he cannot give you all you want. So I think that maybe even if you're not vegan, if your partner is not vegan, you can still maybe hang out with friends who are vegan and then talk about this topic with your friends. So yeah.
Yeah, so cool. I love what you said that like, yeah, your partner cannot give you everything, like, and you should not expect that from him, because that's not going to work. And yeah, also to just be very conscious when going in a relationship, to not want the other person to change, to be open for that possibility. And to also, if the other person, like my ex-partner sometimes asked me questions like, do you know if this fruit is already ripe, or do you know how to cut this fruit, or this dressing is so amazing, can you give me the recipe or something? And then of course I'm absolutely happy to help and give my advice, if you want to call it, but I wouldn't force my advice or what I have to say, or like the cheese you're eating is really bad because it doesn't have any fiber and it's just gonna rot in your colon. I wouldn't say stuff like that. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And yeah, to just be open and lead by being a great example and inspiring. And you are going to inspire the other person, even if it might take a long time, but you are inspiring, and to just really know that in your heart. Yeah, I think it's very important.
I love it. I think that's such a good advice to not be like to. I think the worst that we can do is actually to be really negative about it. Like, oh, today you ate cheese again. Like, to be really, really negative. I think if we go in a relationship with someone who's not vegan, I think we have to accept in the beginning that he maybe eats things that are not vegan. So I think to have the right expectations, because I think as well that you cannot make someone vegan by being mean to me.
We try, but it doesn't work. And again, that's where it also comes, your advice with the boundaries comes in as so important to when you are in a moment where you maybe feel triggered that the other person is eating some cheese, then to remind yourself, okay, what are my boundaries? And this is not a boundary I have chosen. Like, for example, for me, boundary is definitely, I could not be with a heavy meat eater or someone who is like addicted to animal products and cannot live a day without them. That's not possible. But with someone who maybe eats a little bit animal products here and there, I don't see anything wrong with that, especially if he's not in resistance towards what I'm doing and is supportive of what I'm doing and accepts it. So I'm curious, like, what would you say are like the pros and cons of maybe dating someone who isn't vegan? Do you like
Cons. I think in my dream world, I would meet someone who's vegan because I think it would make it maybe a little bit easier. But then, as you said from your experience, that there may be other areas that are not working. So I think pros and cons. I think with my ex-boyfriend, some pros were that we had maybe different perspectives. So I think we both could learn from each other. I think when you're with someone who you agree with everything, there's limited potential to grow. Maybe that was, and I mean, with my ex-boyfriend, it didn't work, but I've learned so much from him. So I think that was a pro that you can grow. And I think a con is really that sometimes it's easier if you share completely the same perspective, or it's maybe sometimes easier because, for example, if you are raw vegan, I think it is in some ways a huge lifestyle change. So, for example, if we went hiking and he was just taking a sandwich with him and he was good for a couple of hours. And I think when I was already preparing a lot more stuff. So it is a change of lifestyle, and I think that could be easier if you're with someone who also maybe it takes more time to prepare things.
yeah.
Do you
Definitely.
have some pros and cons, or did you experience?
Yeah, like something that I experienced that was maybe a disadvantage of not being completely closed off to vegans is and non-vegans is that it might be disgusting for you when you're sitting on the table and the other person is eating animal products. Like you can it's same as with your family, right? When you're sitting at the table and they are eating some animal products, it's just not the most desirable thing. But then again, that's where the boundary comes in again. And when you're with someone who doesn't eat it all the time and also isn't addicted to it and everything, and it also depends on what the person is eating, and also maybe you can have some agreements, or maybe you don't even have to agree, but it just happens naturally that the person doesn't eat like stuff like that in front of you or something. But like, for example, my ex-partner and I, we didn't even need that because he just automatically didn't really eat anything that would bother me in front of me, not because I wanted it, but just because that was the way he was eating. And then also a con is for me that you kind of could run into the risk of going back to animal products because you're surrounded by it. I've had stories also in the raw vegan community of people going back to eating animal products. But then again, like what I've observed is that it's only happening when the person is not supportive of what you're doing and is resisting your lifestyle. So to me, that's not a necessity that you're running into the risk of going back to animal products just because you're someone who isn't vegan. Because as we both experience, you and I, the opposite might happen. You might eat even cleaner when you start eating food with someone, just because you have someone in your life who supports you. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree so much. I think, as you said, it's not not necessarily that, but I think people who go back to eating meat when they have a partner who's eating meat, I think those are maybe people as well who are doing it for not so much time and who are a little bit not sure. I think, for example, for me, I'm really sure. I don't eat meat for so many years, so I think that even if I have a partner who's not vegetarian, I would not want to go back. But definitely, I think for some people who maybe just they went vegetarian only a few months ago, I think there's definitely a risk because I think your partner in the end influences you a lot because the people that you spend a lot of time with are really the people that influence you so much. So,
Yeah,
for sure.
I absolutely agree. And Tessa is asking, did you guys know each other before becoming raw vegan? So do you mean like Eva and me or our partners?
Um, I think so. Julia and I, no, we met online, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
met online. Like, I actually remember when I was first coming to the raw vegan lifestyle, I was searching online for raw vegans in Germany because I only knew all these English people like Freely, Fully Raw Christina, The Raw Advantage. And yeah, she means us. Then I was looking for raw vegans in Germany because I wanted someone who's German who could inspire me. And then I found you, and since then I've really been loving your videos because they are so authentic. So yeah, that's how I met Eva, and I think you met me kind of through the raw vegan bundle as well. Yeah, I think so. And funny enough, we actually don't live very far away. I mean, now you're traveling, but only a couple of hours from where I live. So
Yeah. No, it's true because in Germany there are not so many people. Like I feel like in Germany, veganism is more something for old, old people. Like something that
yeah.
maybe people like women in their 50s, they try to eat more healthy. But I don't know so many young people like in their 20s who are doing raw food. I don't know.
I mean, I've met a couple now on the Dutch Fruit Fest last year, but on the
Okay.
Austria Fruit Fest, so yeah, Austria is not far from Germany. I mean, probably most people know. So it's very close to where we live, and there was a lot of elder people. So yeah, I was actually also quite surprised. But it's also cool to see because everyone in my family who's older, like they don't care at all about
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's so cool to see, and it feels like coming to a family gathering where people are actually health conscious. So it's quite cool. But yeah, there's not that many young people. But then again, we don't really know. Maybe they just haven't gotten the desire to go to a fruit fest. So
Yeah, that's why I think fruit festivals are so cool because you really meet the people. I think also because so the last days, because my dream for so many years is to one day do a retreat in Tenerife. You've also been to Tenerife, right?
no, but I've been to Lanzarote.
I
Yeah.
love yeah, and that's like a dream because I think for me, when I started the raw vegan diet, I didn't know anyone. And I think when you go to retreats or festivals, you really can meet people. So yeah, maybe hopefully one day I'm gonna do it. And then one retreat only for Germans. And then would be cool to connect. There's a question. Which fruit festival are you going to next? Do you go to any? You have something planned?
Yeah, I think this year I'm going to go to the Austria Fruit Fest again, and maybe to Dutch, but I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that the retreat in Tenerife, that sounds so cool,
What?
and so amazing that you have cool streets and roads. I really love that. Yeah. What about you? Are
Yeah,
you planning to go to any fruit fests?
I'm not sure because I was traveling so much. I basically since September I was traveling in Thailand, Malaysia, all the time traveling. It was a lot, and now I'm in Spain again. So I think that the summer, I think that the summer I need more stability and just stay maybe in one place and work. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But who knows? Maybe I'm gonna do it. And yeah, but the retreat in Tenerife, I think it's gonna be really cool. I just have no idea how I'm gonna do it. But it's always like that, right? First you have to have an idea and then to like step by step go there. But yeah, because I mean I lived in Gran Canaria for 1.5 years, and the Canary Islands they're still so present in my heart, and I don't know, I really want to go back. So I think Tenerife specifically, the island is so beautiful. So yeah, I think it would be a great place for a retreat. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Tessa is asking, can't wait to meet you guys at the retreat in Tenerife.
Yeah, like no, I really need to talk about it because if I talk about it now, then I don't have so much excuses to not do it than to actually. It's like I think it's like when someone says he wants to lose, 20 pounds or or something like that. When they say it, it's already in their room, and then they have less excuses to not do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's like how manifestation works, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you're gonna get there, you don't care. You just know where you want to go, and everything else will just unfold throughout time. So, yeah, it's so cool that you are manifesting a festival.
Yeah.
So,
But what about you? You live in Germany and you will continue to live in Germany, right? You're quite
I don't have any plans for
ah.
that. I mean, I just go with the flow of life, and right now life led me to be here where I grew up, which I never thought I would. Because, like, honestly, I was always like thinking I want to explore the world and live somewhere else. But right now it feels good to live here. I have my own apartment, and I work with people who have disabilities, and I really enjoy that. And then, yeah, maybe one day I want to have like a hybrid, living situation where in the winter time I can go somewhere where it's warm and where there's nice fruit
Yeah.
and in Germany still be here, or maybe completely move away from here. Yeah, I'm very open and excited as well.
That's so cool. I think that's as well because some things in life you cannot really plan. It's just sometimes things just happen or don't happen or change or you meet someone. So yeah. I really wonder how I will do it, but I really want to move to Spain. It's just I really love the culture as well, and yeah.
So cool. Yeah, you can
Um,
see your eyes are so shining when you talk about it. It's so nice.
no, I really love it. I think I'm really I think my family as well is really curious where I will end up because I moved so much. But I think in the end, my where I want to try is either in Malaga. I've heard that it's really nice, or like Tenerife or Gran Canaria, so the Canary Islands.
Nice.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll also stay in Germany because everything has pros and cons. I think Germany also has so many pros, but the weather is the con.
Yeah,
You want to move to Florida?
yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Like Canada is also cold and Florida is warm, so you're having similar goals than we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
I
I think
totally get it with the weather in Germany. Like in the winter, I really miss the greenery and the trees and just the sunshine in my face and the fruit. So
yeah.
yeah, I really understand.
But also in Germany, the summer is so nice. Like June, July, August. So nice.
Definitely.
So I think that would be another dream of mine is to like 2 months or 3 months in the summer in Germany and the rest maybe in Spain. It would be so nice. But yeah. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. But actually, I wanted to ask you, because we talked so much about relationships, how it is to be raw vegan and relationships, and I wanted to talk about also family. How did your family react when you went raw vegan or fruit-based? Was your family supportive or was it difficult? Yeah, just would love to know your opinion, experience. Yeah.
It's funny that you asked right now because my dad actually just joined our live video just a minute ago, so it's so funny. But yeah, like I was actually traveling when I discovered the raw vegan lifestyle, so I was away from home, so my parents didn't really know too much about it. But then when I came back from my travels and I was raw vegan, they were very open to it and very accepted, actually way more than I expected. I thought that my family wouldn't understand it and they would maybe even try to convince me to not do it or something. But I've been experimenting so much with different lifestyles and diets in my teenage years, and they've always been so open, and they saw that I like doing it. So they were quite open. And in the beginning of my raw vegan journey, I wasn't fully raw. I was fluctuating a lot between, eating fruit and then also eating cooked food and back and forth. And it took, I think, 3 years or 4 years for me to get to a point where I'm consistently doing what I'm doing right now. But yeah, they're very accepting and open to it, and I'm also very grateful for it. I think it maybe was a bit challenging for them because I often wouldn't really eat with them together, also just because I had a different rhythm and a different, like I don't eat when I'm not hungry. So when it's like lunchtime and I'm not hungry, then I wouldn't sit with them and eat. So that was maybe a bit sad for them, but they were still, I think, accepting. Tessa is writing, my family still doesn't know that I'm a fruit-based raw vegan. They would have me admitted to a mental institution if they knew. Oh no, that sounds dreadful.
Like I really like so good, Julia, for your parents' reaction. I think that's a really great reaction from parents if they're open to it, because in the end, I think that children they want to try, they want to experiment, and I think that even if adults are like, no, you don't do it, I think in the end, children still want to try. So I think if parents are able to be open to it, I think that's really awesome. For me, not
Yeah,
like
how was it for you?
really more difficult. I think I can relate more to Tessa. I think that it really fluctuates, actually. I think sometimes they were more supportive, but they have really also had periods where they were not supportive. So it really depends. I think it also depends a lot because I think 2 weeks ago, my dad was watching a documentary about how bad raw food is for the health. Yeah, it was like a documentary in the national German TV. And I'm like, so it was calling me like, you need to stop it. You need to stop it. I was like, no, I mean, I've been doing it for 6 years, and I'm vegetarian for over a decade, but they still don't really. So it's sometimes it's difficult. It really depends always, and yeah, depends. But I definitely had. I think for me as well because I started when I was 12, and I went vegetarian, so maybe it was more difficult because I was younger, and also because probably it's a very conservative village and
Yeah.
so very conservative. But I think that in the end, because I get from clients when I do coaching, also some people who say my family is not supportive, what should I do? And I think that my advice is obviously to listen to your own intuition. For me, going vegetarian was the best thing that I could do for my health and for the planet. And I think that sometimes you need to do what feels right to you in your heart, even though maybe family is not so supportive. And also, what really helped me was to let go of expectations because I think that in the beginning, I was like, wow, this is so cool. I want my family to go vegan or my family to go vegetarian. And it's been over 10 years, almost 11 years or more, and they still eat meat. So you just need to let go a little bit. And I think it's the same with a relationship, maybe when you're with someone who is not vegan, to let go of expectations and to also just do your own thing and yeah, just care for your own health and be the example. I think that's really helping.
Definitely. Yeah, Tessa just writes, my Instagram handle should be undercover raw vegan. I can definitely relate to that. You probably as well, Eva, right?
Yeah, for sure. But actually, I struggled with that because I was for some time I was actually because as a child I got like made fun of. So for me it was really something shameful. And I think when I was 18 I started with like to start my YouTube channel and my Instagram. And for me it was a huge step because I was always really I think my nature is really more people pleasing. So for me it was a huge step to is like to out myself as someone who's eating fruit-based. So I think, but in the end, even though it was difficult, now it feels so much better. Like I don't need to hide because I think for a lot of years I hid it because it was so ashamed about it. It was like, no, like when someone asks me, are you vegan? I would say, no, because I didn't want to have a discussion or something. But now I just say yes, and I'm open to a discussion if someone wants a discussion. So it's not something I'm ashamed anymore. And maybe Tessa, I don't know, probably you're not ashamed of it, but I can definitely say if you're in this same belief that it's something to be that you have to hide for it or that you're ashamed of it or something, definitely just get out of there because it's so much better if you're open with people and if you're real with people and authentic, because I think only then you can really meet the people who can support you in who you want to become and who you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And something that's also helped me a lot is to just connect with other raw vegans, either here online through the Raw Vegan
Yeah.
Bundle. That was my first contact with, being with other raw vegans where I felt like I'm not a weirdo. There's so many other people out there who are also doing the same. And then also just one fruit festival can be enough to really get it down into your system to really realize like I am not weird. Like maybe ultimately we are all weird, but like I'm not wrong. So there's nothing wrong with me wanting to take extra care of my body, extra care of my health. It's the most amazing thing ever to do, and there are so many others who share this with me, and to really also like see it in your brain how others are doing the same in real life can just be incredibly helpful, because if you are surrounded by so many people who are not doing it, which is totally all right, by the way, there is nothing wrong with not wanting to take care of your health, but being the only one, then you always get the feeling that you're the one who is kind of weird in its brain or something. But so it can be so helpful to connect with others. That's been a really huge game changer for me. But I totally feel the thing with the undercover raw vegan. Like I've also been hiding it for many years, and I think that was even something that was holding me back and actually getting to the point where I'm right now, where I was actually fully committed to bring 3 big lunch boxes of fruit to work and not care, because I was ashamed. So I would rather just comply and say, okay, yeah, I will eat the cooked food because I want to be normal as well. But it's so worth it to just step out of your comfort zone, but take small steps and really like extra small steps in the direction. And slowly become more and more confident in what you do and celebrate every success where you're around others and you stand your ground and you're in your own true power. I think that's really helpful as well.
Yeah, that's so great. And I agree, it takes time. I can remember the first time I went grocery shopping and I bought like a lot of fruit and vegetables. I was like so ashamed, like maybe someone is watching. And then I went to the cashier or to the person who was making the payment, and she was like, like, do you have elephants at home? And I was like, no. So now I put so much vegetables and I really don't care, like zero. I zero care. And then we went to the cashier, and then sometimes I play with people, like if people ask me, oh wow, do you have like an elephant at home or something? I'm like, no, it's me, I eat it, or or sometimes like depends, but yeah, I think it really takes time. And this sounds really funny with my family as well, because I remember the first year when I went grocery shopping also with my brother, because my brother is even more like, oh, what do people think? So he was really conscious. And now when I'm at home, and I go grocery shopping with my brother, for example, it's like he also doesn't care anymore. So I think it really takes some time, takes years to get used to it. Yeah.
Nice. And it's such a nice practice to really become more confident in yourself,
Yeah.
and to see kind of the growth you're going through. And now looking back and seeing, wow, I've come to a point where I can go to the supermarket and buy so many bananas and not care. And if someone asks, what are you doing with all these bananas? You just say, eating them.
Yeah.
This isn't
Yeah.
the most normal thing ever. I think that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really a great practice as well to question what is the norms of society, what you should do, and to practice sometimes to do it different. Because if you can do like those smaller things different, like buying a lot of fruit and vegetables, even though most of the people just buy junk food, basically, is already you do something differently, and you can translate it into different areas, maybe even with work, and you can find new ways on how you can improve your work. So I think that doing things differently than what society wants you to do, it really opens up a lot more doors, actually. So I think that's really, really cool when you practice it.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of reprogramming your mind in a way and
Yeah.
thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
It's
because
great.
that's something that I noticed is that because I'm getting older and I notice so many adults they become so like they're children and then the older they get the more depressed they get somehow like they get into this 9 to 5 and kind of like everything is on standby and some people are a little bit depressed and I think that when you go fruit based you can actually break out of this a little bit you can question stuff and you can say
Yeah,
no I want to just do that is like obviously you need to go to work and make money, but apart from that, you can still enjoy life, and I think that's the beauty of raw food and fruit based as well. You can keep that little child a little bit inside of you, and
yeah, so nice.
so I think we already been talking a lot actually. I just want to say at this point, for those of you who have not already, definitely check out the raw vegan bundle. It's just gonna be available like today and tomorrow, and then it will disappear forever, and it will never happen again. And it's such a great, yeah, offer. You have ebooks, e-courses. The price is super cheap. Like also, you have an amazing e-course about yoga, right? Like I haven't
Yeah.
fully done it, I didn't have time yet, but I definitely want once the Ravigan bundle is over. Do you want to just a little bit talk about your e-course because I think it's so amazing, so great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a course about yoga basically. So when I first came to the raw vegan lifestyle, I felt really overwhelmed because when you start to eat only fruits and vegetables, you open up a big lid and it's like
Yeah.
you've been sharing a water bottle with gas for many years and then you open it and everything comes out emotionally. And yoga has always kind of been that safe haven for me where I could always come back to and ground myself. And it's been such a great like way for me to look at emotions differently and deal with them differently than just like shoving down a lot of food and suppressing them, which is what I've really
Yeah,
been doing for a long time.
yeah,
So yeah, and then when I did my yoga teacher training, I discovered Ashtanga Yoga, and I really felt like I found a style that just fits me perfectly, and I love it so much. So it's basically a set sequence, and you do the same poses every single time. And it can be boring for the mind, and the ego wants to convince you like you're doing the same. This is not good. But because you're always doing the same, it allows you to access a really deep flow state. So that's why I really love Ashtanga, and it helped me also tremendously with the raw vegan lifestyle and being able
yeah,
to be consistent with it because it grounds me so much. And then when Chris Kendall sent around the emails, the next bundle is happening and everything, I was like, what do I want to contribute? I was thinking contributing something related to raw food. Because I already did a yoga course last year, but then I just felt so called. I just feel so called to share yoga with the
it's so
world,
great.
with people. So I just decided to do a yoga course again and this time to share this amazing practice, which has really helped me on this lifestyle. So yeah, it's basically a 6-day course, and you get an email also every day to be consistent and committed with the daily class, and we learn different chunks of the series, and then in the end we do the entire series together. So yeah, it's very simple, very minimalistic, but yeah, I like simple things. So
Oh,
yeah.
it's so great. I love that you have such a passion for it. Like I really like yoga, and I think that yoga can do so much. And I think that health in general is not just about the food, is so much. It's also about the community, about sports. And I think yoga is, like you said, it's not just sports. It's also really spiritual, right? And I think that I'm just at the beginning. Like I've been doing kind of yoga for a couple of years. But I don't know much about the whole philosophy behind it. I think I even did 2 years at Ashtanga every week, and it's really cool because it's the same sequence, right? But it's cool because it's not like Kundalini yoga, which is a lot of meditation. You actually, with Ashtanga, you actually use your body, right?
Yeah, it's very intense. Like you get sweaty when you do Ashtanga yoga because you're moving a lot, you're spending a lot of like time in also static poses where you are challenging your muscles. So you can also get quite sweaty in it. But it's
Yeah.
also meditative at the same time. So yeah, I think.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna take the course because it's so amazing,
Oh.
and that's really cool. Like in general, all the courses and the ebooks and the Writing bundle is really beautiful because I also created some ebooks, not for this bundle, but in general, and I know how much time and effort it takes to create an ebook or to create a course. And I think now I can really value it and appreciate it if there's a really good course or ebook.
Definitely.
So
I also just want to mention for everyone who has already gotten the bundle, there's a really nice ebook which I'm reading right now. It's called I Put Love in My Body by Sashi.
I
And
haven't read it. Is it
it's
nice?
so good. Like it's really heart touching because she shares the
Oh,
story. She had a past of the eating disorder and everything, and then also she shares some really nice practices that you can do to help you, on your raw vegan journey. So yeah, it's a very beautiful book. That's actually the
I'll
only thing
read it.
I've checked out from the bundle yet, and some recipes, of course. Some really
Yeah,
nice ones, and yeah, there is a lot. Like it's very overwhelming in the
it's a
beginning when you get the raw vegan bundle, but then over time you just have something where you can come back to when you want to get inspired or something. So yeah, I think it's definitely a great opportunity for
yeah,
growth and
for
learning.
sure, for sure. Okay, so then thank you so much for this talk. It was so nice. I feel like you have such a calm aura, and it's really cool. It's like your big sister.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking similarly about you because you're so calm and so relaxed and so genuine and real in your videos. I really love that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, then I'm gonna say bye. Thank you also so much for watching, and I'm gonna upload the live on YouTube, so it's for more time on YouTube. Okay, have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you for joining, everyone. Bye.